space program, he might have had difficulty obtaining a permit as quickly as he had. Simone did as she had been taught. She ejected the empty magazine and racked the slide open. Next, she checked the empty chamber before reversing the process by slipping in a full magazine, then releasing the slide. She pulled the slide back one more time so it would put a bullet in the chamber. After she released it, she made sure the safety was still in the up position and wrapped her hands around the weapon with her fingers outside the trigger guard. It was all a ritual her husband taught her, so she would always know when the gun was definitely loaded and ready to shoot. She had rehearsed for this moment, and there would be no accidents. She was aware that there was a faint shudder running through her body as she silently descended the stairs. She had rehearsed it, but not in her wildest dreams had she believed she would ever need to remove the gun from its box. It had all been to appease Henry and his close friend, Adam Calloway. The American astronaut was almost a member of the family, and they had named their son after him, but she had doubted his reasoning when he explained why they needed the gun. Now she understood, but it still scared her to have the gun ready for business. At the bottom of the stairs, she stopped and listened. There was a faint breeze coming from somewhere, and the goosebumps that had popped up on her arms were partly from the realization that she had left windows open for the fresh air. She wondered if she would be standing in the darkness at the bottom of the stairs if she had thought to close the windows for security. Simone was torn between being mad at herself and glad because leaving them open had enabled her to hear what had awakened her. Her eyes had adjusted to the dark, and she was grateful that the slight glow in the east meant sunrise wasn't far away. A moment of regret slipped in because she knew she wouldn't be going back to bed, but it was pushed back by the unmistakable sound of someone or something blundering around on the back porch. This time there were no crashes from broken pottery, but the thumping of feet on wooden boards didn't sound like anything other than an animal of the two-legged variety. It was only at that moment when Simone thought about her phone, or even the security cameras Henry had installed. Their spotty Wi-Fi had caused her to treat the cameras as an afterthought, but she had left her phone on the nightstand. Now she wished she could at least try to see what was out there using the phone app. The kitchen was to her left on the other side of the formal dining room, and as she peered around the corner, she focused on the door to the kitchen. From her vantage point, she could see the door to the back porch, but it was still too dark to make out details. Something moved beyond the glass, but it was little more than a shadow to Simone. She would have to get closer, and she momentarily considered retreating to her bedroom to call the police. The idea of someone getting inside because she wasn't strong enough spurred her into moving again. Keeping the gun aimed at the floor the way Henry had shown her, she moved sideways toward the kitchen door. She didn't know why she was walking sideways. It just seemed like the right thing to do, and it also seemed like she got there faster that way. One more step, and she would be able to see the back porch through the window, but she had to be careful not to give herself away. Simone drew in a deep breath to calm herself, and then took a quick look. She immediately ducked back into her hiding place. She needed a moment to understand what she had seen. She assumed it was a man because of his height, but she didn't just assume he was drunk. She knew he was because he literally fell from view in the brief moment when she had dared to step closer to the window. He had his back to her, so she didn't see his face, and when he fell, it was down the stairs to the flagstones that marked the path through the garden. Another dash into the kitchen felt like the only way to keep him from coming back to the door, so Simone steeled her nerves and rushed into the room. This time she raised the Smith & Wesson and flipped the thumb safety downward. Following where she aimed, she went to the door and yanked it open using one hand. She was proud of herself for not shaking so hard that she would need to sit the gun down to open the door. The sun was just beginning to peek over the horizon, and she had a good view of the path. Nothing was there. The pieces from the broken flower pots littered the floorboards of the porch, and a few had obviously fallen in the other direction to the ground below. But there was something else. Keeping her eyes on the path and the gun ready to shoot, Simone